in different sizes. So part of what we're testing out now is it's amazing to be able to sit and watch a show for 30 minutes.
Oh, you're not even ready for this one. It all started as a whisper, the kind of secret that slithers through the corridors of five-star hotels before it explodes across every screen on the planet. Late one glittering Friday night in Paris, none other than Meghan Markle quietly checked into the world-famous Hotel Le Meurice, that elegant palace dripping in marble, gold, and secrets. You know the place, where people don't just buy comfort, they pay for silence. But here's where it gets interesting. She didn't check in under her own name. Nope. The booking came through her assistant under the alias M. Windsor. Mysterious, right? According to staff who later couldn't help themselves from whispering to the press, Meghan arrived at exactly 11:48 p.m. A vision in an oversized trench coat, sunglasses still on even though it was basically midnight, no entourage, no fanfare, just a sleek black car, a silent driver, and two massive suitcases. No tags, no logos, just mystery. But honey, within minutes of her check-in, that perfectly curated calm of Hotel Le Meurice began to crumble. At first, it was just little things, the kind of hiccups that make staff exchange glances, a heated phone call in the lobby, raised voices behind the reception desk, a guest complaining that someone was shouting in English near the elevator. But then came the real drama. It wasn't a movie, but it might as well have been. The unmistakable sound of Meghan arguing, not with hotel staff, with someone in her own room. The woman's voice, sharp, fast, furious, echoed through that narrow hallway. Then came a crash, and then silence. By the time security reached her suite, Meghan had already composed herself, calm, polite, smiling. "Everything's fine," she told them sweetly, "just a misunderstanding." And of course, the staff backed off. This was Le Meurice. Discretion is their luxury. But oh, if only they'd known. Because somewhere in that grand, glittering building, a camera had caught it all. Every inch of those corridors, the elevators, even the doorways, watched by 24-hour surveillance, footage that's normally sealed tighter than a royal vault. But somehow, somewhere, someone let one clip slip out, a 37-second video. That's all it took to set the internet on fire. It first appeared on a tiny French gossip forum buried under the bizarre title Video Supreme, a Duchess loses it in Paris, deleted. The post was taken down in hours, but by then, it was too late, because once the internet gets its claws on something, it never lets go. The clip, oh, that clip, was grainy, slightly tilted, straight from a hotel security camera.
Give you a recipe in 2 minutes, and where can I share that with you, and how that continues to grow as ever. So exploring all the options of what it could look.
It showed Meghan standing in the hallway, half inside her suite, half out, a phone pressed to her ear. She was shouting, but not in anger, in panic. "Turn that camera off, do you hear me? Turn it off now," she yelled, waving towards someone off-screen, her eyes wide and desperate. And just for a heartbeat, another shadow appeared, faint, blurry, but clearly holding something, a phone, a camera. Before Meghan lunged forward as if to grab it, the footage cut out. No context, no explanation, just one chilling command caught forever: turn that camera off. By sunrise, it wasn't just gossip anymore. It was global chaos. The hashtag Hajar Hotel tape exploded across Twitter, Reddit, Telegram, you name it. French tabloids called it the meltdown Meghan didn't want you to see. British outlets labeled it the Paris Panic. And within 24 hours, that 37-second clip had spiraled into something so much bigger because journalists soon realized there was more than one camera rolling that night, and one of them didn't belong to the hotel. Paris woke up to the story, and the city hasn't slept since. At first, everyone assumed it had to be fake. Another AI deepfake meant to stir drama. But when Le Figaro confirmed that the hallway in the footage exactly matched Hotel Le Meurice's 6th floor, down to the wall pattern and timestamp, disbelief turned to shock. The timestamp read 11:59 p.m., June 28th, the exact night Meghan had checked in under that secret alias. Then came the leak that sealed the deal, a screenshot from the hotel staff's encrypted WhatsApp group, a message that simply read, "The footage is real." A housekeeping supervisor, speaking anonymously, told Le Monde it wasn't the first time she raised her voice that night. "We were told to stay off the 6th floor. Something about filming permissions." And just like that, those two words, filming permissions, ignited a firestorm. Because what no one outside that hotel knew yet was that Meghan hadn't come to Paris alone.
Great, so the holiday special in November, we'll keep an eye out for that. I do lots of gift wrapping techniques. You guys know I used to teach gift wrapping at Paper Source.
2 hours before her outburst, security footage from the rear service entrance showed a film crew sneaking in through the staff door. No badges, no uniforms, just camera cases and a clipboard with the logo of Archewell Productions, her personal company. According to internal logs later leaked to Variety France, Meghan's booking wasn't just for rest and luxury. Officially, it was for a private creative retreat. But the truth? Her suite had been transformed into a mini film set. Lights, sound equipment, makeup stations, even a camera tripod positioned by the window with a view of the Tuileries Gardens. Insiders later spilled the tea. Meghan was secretly working on an intimate visual diary, a project meant to show her real self. Raw, unfiltered, alone, reconnecting with her purpose. Except, things didn't go as planned. During a routine check, hotel staff noticed that camera set up near the bathroom door, a direct violation of hotel policy. Filming without official clearance is a big no-no at Le Meurice. It can get you kicked out faster than you can say royalty. When management confronted Meghan about it, she exploded. She kept insisting she had verbal permission, said one security insider, but there was no record, no document, no signature, nothing. And when they told her they'd have to disable her equipment until the paperwork could be verified, she completely lost it. That's the exact moment we now know led to the scene in that infamous hallway. The moment she screamed, "Turn that camera off!" Here's the wild twist. The camera she was yelling at, it wasn't the hotel's, it was her own. By mid-afternoon, the internet was spinning like a tornado. New versions of the leaked footage started popping up. Slightly different angles, different timestamps. Someone had more than just the hallway clip. Social media detectives went full CSI mode, syncing reflections, echoes, light patterns, and camera angles. Hashtags like #HotelGate, #SharkMeltdown, and #ParisUncut trended worldwide. Inside the hotel, chaos reigned. Guests furious. Reporters swarming the front entrance. Security ordered to keep silent. And behind those polished doors, a darker truth began to leak. The source of the footage wasn't some hacker or journalist. It was an insider. A night shift supervisor from the hotel's surveillance team had copied the footage onto a USB drive and sold it to a gossip broker for a measly $18,000. But when the broker uploaded it too early, all hell broke loose. By evening, Meghan's legal team was on the phone, fuming, threatening lawsuits against the hotel, the leaker, even the French Privacy Commission. But as usual, their outrage only made the story burn brighter. Because as they yelled about privacy, the public was asking something far more dangerous. If Meghan didn't want cameras rolling, why were there so—
Not the full circle I was expecting, but here we are. Yeah, you had a lot of odd jobs. Froyo was another one, I believe. Yeah, Humphrey Yogart, that was my first job. And, when I used to do calligraphy.
Many in that suite that night. At 2:18 p.m. the next day, things took another insane turn. A Reddit user on r/ParisLeaks posted still images from an alternate angle, this time inside Meghan's room. The grainy frames showed luxury luggage, 2 glowing ring lights, and a handheld camera sitting on a vanity table. But one frame froze the world in place. Meghan's reflection in the mirror, mid-motion, mouth open, finger pointed at someone behind the lens. The caption read, "She wasn't yelling at hotel security. She was yelling at her crew," and that, darling, flipped the story upside down. Within hours, entertainment journalists were calling Paris officials, demanding records of film equipment rentals. The answer? Yes. A local production alias registered by Meghan's U.S. assistant had rented gear for a project called Grace Under Fire. Its description? A personal reflection on fame, freedom, and feminine resilience. Sound familiar? It didn't take long for tabloids to connect the dots. Grace Under Fire was Meghan's top-secret project, a follow-up to her unreleased Montecito documentary that fizzled after the Dior fallout. Paris was supposed to be her big comeback, her grand emotional centerpiece. Except the twist. Nothing about that night was unplanned. A whistleblower from hotel maintenance told The Telegraph they'd found hidden cameras tucked behind mirrors, lamps, even flower arrangements. Mini GoPros. Everywhere. She wanted authenticity, the source said, but she wanted to control it. When the hotel's internal security team discovered those hidden devices during their nightly inspection, the entire operation imploded. The crew confronted, the gear flagged. Meghan, realizing they were about to seize her footage, panicked. That's when the screaming started. "Turn that camera off!" she yelled. "You don't film me when I'm not ready!" But here's the tragic irony. In trying to stop the cameras, she created the very footage that would destroy her. By that evening, major outlets were circling like sharks. CNN called it a meltdown within a meltdown. The Daily Mail went with the hidden hotel horror, and social media, a war zone. Half the world calling her a victim, the other half saying she'd been performing her own breakdown. One Hollywood executive told Deadline, "Meghan doesn't just direct her image, she scripts it. And if life doesn't match the script, she rewrites it live." That night, though, Paris didn't follow her script. The hotel's general manager, trapped between lawyers and the press, got hit with a double crisis. Meghan's team demanding every copy of the footage be destroyed, and French authorities opening a criminal investigation into unauthorized filming on private property. By day's end, Le Maurice was under siege. Journalists at the door, investigators inside, guests sneaking out through service exits, and then came the next bombshell. The leak hadn't come from a stranger, not even from hotel staff. It came from inside Meghan's own circle. The culprit? A freelance cinematographer named Jonas Bell, who'd worked with her on several small LA projects. His specialty? Immersive verite storytelling. Exactly the raw, handheld aesthetic Meghan wanted for Grace Under Fire. When his name hit Le Parisien, the internet lost its mind. Who was he? Why leak it? And soon, the answers surfaced. Jonas had been fired just 48 hours after the hotel meltdown. Then came the receipts. Text messages between him and Meghan's assistant that night, verified by digital experts. 11:54 p.m. Jonas, "We're still rolling," she said. "Keep the lens up even if she's upset." 11:58 p.m. Assistant, "No, shut it down. She's losing it." 12:02 a.m. Jonas, "She told me not to stop. Said, if I break, they need to see it." That one line shattered the internet. If I break, they need to see it. Suddenly, this wasn't just a meltdown. It was performance. Authenticity turned into spectacle. Jonas later told Variety Europe he never meant to sell the footage. He said he just kept backups to protect himself after her lawyers threatened him. She wanted control, he said. Even her breakdowns had to look beautiful. And that's when the narrative truly shifted. This wasn't just gossip anymore. It was a morality play about fame, control, and what happens when you perform so long that even your pain becomes part of the show.